Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Streets of Gold. We're going to talk a little bit about Mac Jones today. We're going to talk a little bit about Justin Fields. We're going to talk a little bit about the pro day that's coming up for Trey Lance on Monday. We're also going to talk about all the teams that, and including the 49ers now, that have decided to opt out of the up-and-coming voluntary on-field workouts. The report is that many 49ers will not participate in the voluntary on-field workouts. Just based on things that I've heard on the radio and stuff like that and such from different analysts, it sounds as if there's a couple factors, obviously, that play into this. I don't think that COVID itself is one of the leading reasons why players don't want to do these workouts. I think it's more about the fact that last year, I do share this opinion with many people. It's not my own opinion, but I do agree with it. And it makes perfect sense. Last year, all these players, man, like they went the entire offseason without the regular camps, mini camps, workouts, training camp, all that type of stuff that is in a normal off season for NFL players. And they went into the season and they were able to perform, and they were able to work out on their own and kind of have their own schedule and make their own regiment. And to be honest, I think a lot of them preferred that. And so it is a hindrance. The only hindrance and the only downfall to it is for those guys at the very bottom end of the roster. And so that's a very true thing. So guys that are just kind of on that bubble, that roster bubble, it's hard for the young bucks that are trying to earn a job and make their way and kind of find their footing at the beginning of their NFL careers. So I could see that being kind of a negative in the situation regarding the workout. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, or if you have any other thoughts, opinions to share about it. Like, that would be great. If you have anything to say about it or ask about it or share about it, please comment below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the page. Don't forget to like the page and to sign up for notifications and whatnot, so that you can be a part of this stream and a part of this going forward, and we can continue to communicate. So that would be really cool. So moving on now, I want to talk a little bit about, of course, the only thing that anyone's talking about, the 49ers quarterback situation. So we don't know who the QB is going to be. We're not 100%. We can only speculate at this point still. It's just hearsay, rumors, going based on what we know. And so as of right now, based on what we know, is that Kyle wants to draft and handpick a quarterback at number 3. It's a lot of capital to give up. It's got to be a QB. So, but which one? And we know Lawrence isn't going to be available. And presumably, as far as we've been told, based on reports about the 49ers offering, this is another report that came out, the 49ers offered the Jets, apparently, this is something that I read. I don't know how much credibility there is to it, but we offered the Jets a first-round pick for Sam Darnold, and it was turned down because the Jets were waiting on the medical of Zach Wilson's shoulder. So obviously, there was definitely interest in Sam Darnold, based on that report anyway. And based on that report also, there's obvious interest with the Jets and Zach Wilson, leading me to think, and I'm just going to base all of this that we're going to talk about on the fact that Lawrence goes 1, Wilson goes 2. That's it. So if you're left with Lance, Fields, and Mac Jones, who do you pick? Who's your pick? I know who my pick would be. It's not necessarily what my gut tells me or my brain tells me. Like, it's just what I would pick. Like, if it was my choice and I was picking a QB there, I think I know who I'd go with. And it would be Justin Fields. And it's simply based on the fact that I think that the guy is the best quarterback after Trevor Lawrence in this draft. And I don't think there's a far gap between him and Lawrence, to be honest. And there's this speculation on Justin Fields, and the knock on him is he doesn't. This kind of makes me laugh because then I saw a stat that came out right after, but he doesn't play well on his second and third read. So he's a first read quarterback. So he's gets the play call, knows where he's going with the football, pre-snap, snaps the ball, and boom, that's it. And outside of that, then he's nothing. He can't play outside of that. So that's a false statement. There's a stat. I don't know if I can pull it up right now, but I saw it online, and it was rating through PFF, rating the quarterbacks in this draft based on their second reads. So which QBs have the highest passer rating on second reads? I don't know if it's like second, third, fourth, but like beyond your first read. Put it that way. Beyond your first read, which quarterback had the highest QB rating? And let me tell you who it is. It's Justin Fields. He had the highest passer rating. Okay? Period. Done. Out of all of them. Who was second? Or who was last? Mac Jones. Mac Jones was last. The processor. Okay? So, I think that had a little bit to do with Mac Jones' weapons. And his first read was probably there most of the time anyway. Because, let's face it, he was throwing in good players. Which is going to lead me, kind of segue me into Mac Jones, but I'm not quite there yet. So let's just pause on that Mac Jones thing for a second and stick to Justin Fields here. So based on what I just said about Justin Fields, is he or is he not defying what the negative things being said about him are? I think that he is, and he has. I think that the negative knocks on him are totally unjustified. They're unjustified. I like him as a person. At the pro day, there was a report about how he commanded the routes well. He coached up the receivers on the routes for the throws that he was going to make. He was in command. He showed leadership skills, and I think that's going to be something Kyle loves. There's a part of me like inside that gets excited thinking that it could be Justin Fields. I don't want to get my hopes up for any one particular QB. I want to break them down, each one by one. And I want to look at their pros and their cons. I don't want to necessarily compare them too much, so I get too lopsided in my thinking. I want to just look at it as, what are the pros for us getting either one of these guys, any of the three, and how does it benefit us? So that's what I'm working through right now. So when it comes to Mac Jones, there's a few things that I want to clarify. Things that I think that are said about him that everyone is saying about him. And it has to do with why Mac Jones was successful. Okay? Mac Jones played at Alabama. Mac Jones threw the ball to NFL caliber wide receivers. Mac Jones had a great offensive line. Mac Jones is a product of Alabama. Nick Saban. All of these things that are said about Mac Jones are true. Mac Jones did play at Alabama. He did throw to great NFL caliber wide receivers. He threw the ball being protected by a great offensive line, being directed by a great college coach, maybe the best college coach ever in Nick Saban. But he executed. Nobody made him execute except for his own abilities. And let's just look at those knocks on him in perspective here. Okay? When he comes to the NFL, let's just say we draft him. Okay? When he comes to the NFL, to the 49ers, let's say, is he going to be on a good football team? Yes, he is. Is he going to have a good offensive line? Yes, he is. Is he going to have NFL caliber wide receivers? Yes, he is. Weapons. He's going to have NFL weapons. Is he going to have a good play caller? Yes, he is. Is he going to go into a system that is going to make him look good? Yes, he is. Those are all things that you have to consider. So as much as you say one, you have to consider the other. They go hand in hand. And so I don't want to completely destroy a guy and say that he's not worth the pick. He's this, he's that. When, you know what? I think if he comes in to San Francisco, I think Kyle puts him in a position to succeed. I think Kyle teaches him and shows him how to be an elite quarterback at the NFL level. I think he has the athleticism, which is a knock on him. Okay, the guy's an elite tennis player. Like, I've read reports that the guy's a stud on the tennis court. Like, you gotta have great footwork and you have to be athletic to play tennis. Tennis is all about coordination, footwork, speed, agility. So I think that he would be moving in the pocket at a very high level. And he can make every throw on the field. He can throw it across the field. He can dump it off. He can go over the top. He can go right down the middle. He has the throw. He has the arsenal to be able to make the NFL throws. And he's going to have to learn an NFL offense no matter what, because he's getting drafted. He's going somewhere. And there is interest in him from other NFL teams. It's not like the San Francisco 49ers are the only team that are interested in Mac Jones. There's other teams that if they were in our position, they might draft him. There's other teams that are going to draft him if we don't draft him. And it's going to be early. So my thought is, why so harsh on Mac Jones when we have the team and system and ability to make him an elite quarterback at the NFL level? We don't know what he is going to be, but we can set him up to succeed. Kyle can set him up to succeed. So I just want to leave that there when it comes to Mac Jones. I think that there is going to be an uproar from NFL or 49er fans if we do draft Mac Jones at number 3. Am I going to be super excited? You know, I don't know. I like Mac Jones. He's not my favorite quarterback in this draft, but I like him a lot. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna respond. But I have to buy the jersey. I gotta buy it. Like, I gotta order whatever name is announced that night. Like, I'm going online and I'm ordering a jersey, like, so I can get it like ASAP. My birthday is in June, so like I want to have that jersey for my birthday. That's my birthday present. I'm buying myself a birthday jersey. Okay, like, straight up. That's what it is. So I don't know whose name it's gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be Fields. Maybe it will be Lance. So let's segue there. Since we're moving, let's talk a little bit about Trey Lance and that pro day coming up. Now, I wish these things were televised. I want to see him throw again. I got nothing else right now. I'm waiting. Like, I'm waiting for this pro day. I'm waiting for the draft, right? So it's one of those things where I'm my head's kind of spinning, still wondering. Trey Lance is a fantastic prospect. He has the intangibles to be superb. He has the arm. He has the mind. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have a lot of throws on his resume. He doesn't have a lot of games on his resume. Mac Jones is kind of in the same boat, though. They're kind of in the same boat. He doesn't have the same difficulty of opponents, but he dominated the teams he played. So it's not like he was playing okay against them. No, he played well. He didn't throw any picks. Maybe he's a bit too safe, people say. I don't know. Maybe he's not a risk taker, but that can be coached into him. He can be coached up. And is he worth the project pick at 3? If we have Jimmy, honestly, if we're going to keep Jimmy, Lance isn't a bad pick. Lance is a guy that can come in. He can learn. The play action game, he has it. So his NFL style, his pro style offense that he ran at North Dakota State, a lot of play action. And the thing with play action is, and I heard this on the radio, someone was talking about something a while back, but when you are running play action, you have to have a certain amount of trust in your instincts, in your players, and in the system. And you are literally, you are snapping the ball under center, and then you're turning, you're faking the handoff to the halfback, right? And then you've turned your back to the defense completely. Okay, so what you saw when you're making your read under center, you're now looking at the defense. You play call, you audible, you do what you got to do. Snap the ball, turn your back to the defense, fake the handoff, take the ball in your gut, and now you're turning around. And so now what you saw in the defense pre-snap and when you snapped it is totally different than what you're seeing when you turn back around. So you have to be able to turn now, process quickly, work through your reads, find your guy, and make the throw. Trey Lance was 3rd on that list for after his first read QB rating, PFF. He was 3rd. It was Fields, Wilson, Trey Lance. Okay? And it was marginal between the 3 of them. So, you know what? Lance can do it, man. He can. There's a lot of play action in Kyle's offense. He runs play action, I think, more than anybody. And it's a learned thing. It's not something that you can just, you know what? You're gonna go run play action this game. All right? Even though you don't do it, go do it. It doesn't work that way. These are instincts. That it's muscle memory that you're talking about here. This is something that you practice in game at live game speed repetitively until it becomes something that you know and you do well. He has done it. He excelled at it. He's practiced at it. And on top of that, he's a big body guy. He can whip that football around the field on a rope, man. On a rope. He's got the powerful arm, man. Like we've seen Kaepernick back in the day in a Niners uniform. Sling that ball down the field to Vernon Davis on a rope. To Crabtree. I'm telling you, man, Crabtree's hands and to Bolden, man, that was a good team. He had good weapons. He was whipping that ball at ridiculous speed to these guys. And they were making those catches. I don't know how. It's incredible. Trey Lance kind of reminds me of he could maybe do a little bit of that, I wasn't a huge Cat fan. I didn't think he was an elite QB. He just kind of stormed the NFL by surprise and caught people off guard. That's my honest assessment of him. Trey Lance can be a really good quarterback if he's coached up well in the right system and he's 20 years old, man. He has that structure around him to build and nurture. Richie and Kyle, come on. Those guys know how to develop. And so I think Lance is a really, really good pick. And there was a time where I didn't feel that way. And it changes sometimes hourly because my mind is just constantly going through the pros and cons. And so it's hard for me to form an opinion and stick with it on this topic because I'm really trying to find the QB of the future for the 49ers myself. As much as Kyle and those guys are doing it, I'm putting myself in their shoes and I'm trying to play GM and head coach, and who would I want if this is the type of offense that I would run, right? If I'm Kyle Shanahan, what would I be looking for in a quarterback? So I think Trey Lance is got some of those attributes that Kyle's looking for. I think that between Mac Jones and Trey Lance, totally different animals, right? Like not the same offense. The offense would look so different depending on which one of those guys you pick. And then we circle back to Justin Fields. And I look at a guy that can do it all and do it against good competition. He's got a lot more reps, a lot more games under his belt. Elite in 2019, elite in 2020. I don't know. It's such a difficult decision. And of course, there's always that small possibility. I know this is all going based on Lawrence and Wilson 1 and 2, but there's a possibility that Fields gets picked at 2. That's always a possibility. Nothing's a lock. So I think that when it comes to picking at 3, we're gonna have an opportunity to get a really good quarterback, and it really is gonna come down to what Kyle really is looking at. I think he knows his guy. There's all this talk about, well, if he moved up to 3, there's 2 or 3 guys there that he must really like. And he has to have 2 guys or has to have 3 guys. You don't just move up there. You can't move up there for 1 guy. What if that 1 guy isn't there? Honestly, Kyle, I know Kyle loves a prospect here a lot. There's a guy that he is infatuated with. I think there's one guy that separates himself from the others to him. And I don't know, maybe he's confident that he's going to get that guy. That he's already had that, like, psst, psst, Saleh, what are you doing? Undercover conversation with Robert Saleh. And he knows what the Jets are doing. And so he moved up confidently knowing who he's going to get. And now it's just smoke. Smoke here, smoke there, smoke everywhere. So I don't know if there's any credibility to a lot of the rumors that are coming out. So it's really hard to determine. Okay, so moving on. Before we close it out here, I'm gonna keep it under 30 minutes. So we can talk voluntary OTAs. Yep. That's a really difficult situation with guys, COVID and stuff. I don't think it's COVID related. I don't think guys don't want to go because of COVID. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is coming along really well in the rehab. It looks like he's working out hard, and he's going to make a real strong push for having a good year this year. It's going to be really exciting to get him back on the field. George Kittle, he's getting ready for this year. Like, the 49ers are getting ready for this year. One thing that I do want to question about is there was a report that we were interested in Giovanni Bernard, that third down back out of Cincinnati, 2nd round pick. Solid player, man. Like, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run it. He's a good blocker. He's fantastic, man. Like, he's great in pass pro. So I think that Gio, the interest in Gio is it makes me think, like, Kyle's looking for a running back. He's looking for another guy that's dependable and good. And when he came available, there was interest right away. But obviously, when Tom Brady calls you, you're going to I almost said New England. You're going to Tampa. Period. That's just it. Like Bruce Arians, Tom Brady. Hey, you want to come win another Super Bowl? Look, come on over to the dream team over here. Like, like they got like a little NBA thing going over there where they're just bringing in guys, man. They got an all-star lineup. But I love what Mike Silver wrote. There was an article and a report that came out about the 49ers are the team to beat. The 49ers are the team to beat. And I love that because I agree. Like, yeah, like the injury-plagued year happened. But let's not forget, this team dominated their way through the season and through the playoffs. They dominated, man. Like, they were amazing that year. 13-3, and then stampeded Minnesota, stampeded Green Bay, and hardly even needed a QB. That's how powerful they were. So, and we were crushing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, that game was ours to lose, and we lost it. Like, that's it. I see a couple different reasons why, and I don't want to unpack that fully, but we lost it. And we could have won it, and we should have won that game, and we're going to have another chance. And I think it's going to be sooner than a lot of people think. And I'd love to see it happen with a guy like Justin Fields there, man. Like, because I think that he, like I said earlier, if I'm on the clock at 3 and Justin Fields is there with the 3rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Justin Fields. That's going to be my pick. So, anyways, thanks for joining me today. Just wanted to brief up on that kind of stuff, talk about a few things that are going on with the 49ers. If there's any questions, please leave them below. Subscribe to the page. I need the support. I really want to continue to do this, make episodes on a regular basis, daily if I can. Talk about days leading up to the draft. I'm really excited. I want to talk a little bit about later round picks. I'm going to make another episode tomorrow, so you can catch me tomorrow. I'll be uploading a video sometime tomorrow night. And yeah, I'm going to talk about some later round gems that we can find, because so far Lynch and Shanny, they've done a pretty good job. Oh, by the way, John Lynch, rated 9th best GM in the NFL. Yeah, and best GM in our division since 2015. So that's really awesome. So congrats to John Lynch. He's done a great job. And I trust the process right now with the QB. And I know we're gonna find some gems in round 5. Like, I have a feeling like we've done well in middle late rounds. So I think we'll do well again. So have a good night. Go Niners. God bless.